Hey, 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 Lord J, Maximus James running around, Grandpa in the living room, who I will not share the pictures of because when I do, I get in trouble. Reports get sent to informants that are supposed to take me out and down. But anyway, when you are willing to speak about things that are not generally spoken of, you piss a lot of people off, and it's just the nature of how it goes. But I'm wearing a Muskoka, Canada campus crew top because I say we stop being screwed at camp, camp you screw, and instead we actually see that the rumble inside of we must be the reverting to our original standing as real ones within a shared space that we have common dominion over until it's specified. Until domains are claimed and dominated, and dominion then takes an @ sign into it, right before the ions, to make the domination focus be dominion over domains, without saying that that's what's being laid claim to. So now that we do understand that, we can actually unpack it, which is precisely what I intend to do with you who wish to go on a deep dive into not just the underworld of the res publica, which is the republic or public thing, the public affair that we're all converted into when implied to be other than us, other than we truly are. Do you see how insane it is to believe in this fallacy of us versus them when we're the ones on the playing field? We might not know the ones that are making decisions in high places in other parts of the world, but at the same time, while we highlight the tension, we must see that just because we don't know the players on the field in all places, we might know someone that does. And that's the piece. We're all interconnected. We are the players on the field of consciousness. It is our consciousness that is being capped by the frequency nets that have been capping our consciousness of what is possible. We cap our potential based on the performance we've done in the past and believe that to be a reflection of what's possible. But that is so not true. If you go to the starting line of a race and you look at your competition down the line to see what your competition is, what you need to do to beat them, you're never going to beat the highest version of you that's playing you, saying, do your best. Run as fast as you can, as hard as you can, for as long as you can, and take breaks when you need to, because self-care matters too. I am so grateful to be teaching from my heart and sharing the experience I didn't understand until now I do. When I was locked up and could only see 3 of the characters out of 6 and knew all of them, I was curious and didn't know why that was. And no one could answer that until I stuck with the question and finally found the answer in the public system. The whole construct of it is how them are created in the first place. Us versus them is literally us stepping into public positions to play them and then be blamed for it because the public officials are then people are acting as public officials. Public officials don't exist. An office can't do anything without someone empowering it. They need manpower in order to empower the lines of communication or the lines of fire or the lines that ultimately divide the page into a perfectly ordered environment to craft messages that others will have to adhere to, because when you adhere to something else, here is now there, because there's a cross where here stopped, which is now, and that is where we got stuck with that cross of there outside of here, which is now. Any not now moments trap us outside of our power. Our creative power exists in the present moment. We're present here, now, for a reason. So why not just reorder the letters in the new world order that has been causing so much harm because we've been stepping into these public positions to play these parts, to then actually step back into our private capacity with all rights reserved at all times, even when stepping into the public, where we must act as the conscience for an office, corporation, or entity that doesn't have the ability to act conscionably of their own accord because they don't have a conscience. They only have the con of science with a dollar sign for the S instead, because the substitute puts a fiat in there that says this is the best that there is, and it's true. So long as you can't prove something else is a better idea, in which case then the hypothesis would have to be peer reviewed and worked on, and if in the end it came to pass that this was a better idea at last, we'd say that wasn't right, now this is, and it's the science, so follow it. But when there is only but $1 sign through the fiat, well then we know it's a lie. Because if it's not backed up with 2 lines, well then I say it's not backed by anything of substance, of which we are, which is why we can empower the public thing or affair, because we invite a second person into the frame to speak for us, and then instead of being the number 1 in our own story, we move to the third, because the second speaks for the third, the one in the war of dimensionality. Our consciousness is capped by the consciousness and frequency nets of our consciousness. It is true, though we must see that we must be the ones who feed the minds and hearts and souls of those who hold the keys to our soul. Every one of us have come to trust ourselves, to care for these lands we share. Dominion over these lands is how we must be. And when we see that we must not put an @ sign in the dominion to make it domination, which is how we shun our true self, which says, oh hell, I don't like how this feels. And instead we say, press it down and just stand tall, but don't make too much noise when you do it, or you might become a threat, and then you'll find people come to attack the light in the dark if they want to give those around a good fright. So if you shine too bright, you might get locked up under the modern day witch hunt, legalized and normalized as the modern day Mental Health Act. Well, in fact, I got locked up under that when I made a crazy call I wouldn't do again, y'all, but I did it and I learned from it, and I survived and I came out stronger, and I actually reclaimed parts of me that had been left in not now moments in previous lives. When I played other characters, my soul is the energy of all that's in me. But to think that energy would not have incarnated into other positions before is absurd. And so I say it's time for us to be the warriors of our own lives, as we find what is nice and to bow, to say namaste, namago, the waffle's ready for Papa Yo. And it's Laura J for today.